Good morning, everyone. This is Lynne's Papa. It's Lynne Jordan's Papa. Live stream number 98. Live stream and life's dream number 98. Well, right now, for us, it's 11:30 a.m., Friday, February 19th. For me, it's 3 a.m., February 19th. Holly is asleep, so I have to be quiet, and I don't want to wake the neighbors. But this is an amazing and beautiful story. But I must warn you, the language and the graphics are what do they call it? Oh, not the language and the graphics. It's too early for me. The language and the images are graphic. But it's a beautiful, true story that must be told. But for now, let's have some harmonica music. Holly's asleep. It's story time. This is a very, very special story that Lynne Jordan told us on the way home from a gig one time. And we just wanted to share it, though, as I said before, a warning. It has some graphic language and images. But Lynne has made for you a beautiful story sandwich. It's a story sandwich on 2 slices of No One's Got Them Like I Do.
She was a hot-blooded woman, sending chills up and down his spine. Now she's got him crying in his wine. It don't impress me, no. It don't impress me none. Yeah. You tell me about your troubles till you turn blue. No one's got them like I do. Got something you don't want, and it's one of a kind. The doctor said you're running out of time. It don't impress me, son. 'Cause you can tell me about your troubles till you turn blue in the face. Blues, no one's got 'em like I do. Go!
My grandfather was the son of a slave and the white man who owned her. Born in the state of Georgia in 1883, Papa, as we called him, was the patriarch of our family. Papa was a big, handsome, strapping man with a voice that rumbled like thunder when he preached or when he was angry. Now, Papa had no formal education, but after he fled the South to Dayton, Ohio, he found work, sent for his family, and started a church called St. Luke Missionary Baptist Church, which is still standing almost 100 years today. Papa had 9 children. Maud was his younger, and she was my mother. I grew up in Papa's church. It's where I learned to sing. And one of my favorite memories is hearing him talking about those days during Jim Crow down south. But it was a miracle I ever knew him. See, Papa and his family and his mother lived together on a farm in Barnesville, Georgia. The neighboring farm is owned by a white family. Now, surprisingly, back then, blacks and whites lived somewhat neighborly to a certain point. They were sharecroppers trying to eke out an existence as farmers in poverty, and they often shared tools or borrowed tools from each other. On this particular day, they got into a disagreement over one of the tools, as neighbors do. But it isn't a big brawl, but it comes to blows when the neighbor calls Papa a nigger, which was typical back then, still typical today. But it triggered a natural response in Papa, and he, bam, hit that man in the mouth. Well, that ended the fight, and both men went back to their fields. Later that day, Papa went home and was telling Grandma Fanny how he stood up to that white boy. That cracker tried to disrespect me, he said with pride. But Grandma Fanny had no pride. She was horrified by this. Son, don't you know what you done? They're gonna kill you. Well, the neighbor was telling his own story to the boys. We're gonna teach that nigger a lesson. Yeah! Woo! Yeah! And that's how it was done. The lynch mob would gather the good old boys, all liquored up. They'd get their guns, their torches, and rope, and set out into the night. They'd go to the house, stand outside with their burning torches, and drag him out while his wife is screaming and his children are crying in terror. They'd beat him, torture him, set the house ablaze, maybe the fields too. Then they'd drag him away to the lynch site, maybe castrate him, string him up to that old tree, hang him, and then set him on fire. Maybe even take some pictures for show. Southern trees bear a strange fruit. Blood on the leaves and blood at the root. Black bodies swinging in the southern breeze. Strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. Now that was the fate Grandma Fanny knew her son faced, unless she could find some way to stop it. She went to the white man she worked for, but he wouldn't or couldn't help her. All he would say was, "You better get that boy out of here fast." But Grandma Fanny's a resourceful woman. Her greatest personal accomplishment was that she kept all 14 of her surviving children together. They weren't ripped from her breast like all the other mothers' babies were during slavery. And her son was not going to die this night. In the darkness, she sneaks her beloved David away into the night, away from his home, his wife, and his young children. She takes Papa deep into the woods and hides him in a fallen, hollowed-out tree log. And there, encased and hidden away, Papa disappears from the face of the earth. Days go by, a week, and there he stays until she can get the money to send him away up north to safety. Come out, nigger! Every night, by the light of the Georgia moon, Granny sneaks out to the hollow log, quietly into the darkness, filled with the fear of being seen and followed. She takes some food to keep him alive. Grandma Fanny has 3 sons who've already fled the South. There's Clifford in New York, Fred in Philadelphia, and John Henry in Ohio. John Henry's money comes first. And that's why Papa moved to Ohio. And that's how in 1961 I came to be born in Dayton, Ohio, the youngest grandchild of Reverend David Revere, Papa. See, my grandfather was headed to a lynchman's rope that day. But thanks to the dedication and determination of his glorious mother, he survived. The miracle happened. He did not die. Unlike so many others. I am their legacy. I will never forget this story, and I'll never stop telling it, because this is from whence I came. I rise up to claim my part of American history, and through my art, I'll keep making it. Thank you.
Go! Off the bridge into the San Francisco Bay. Let the waters carry you away. It won't impress me, not at all. Not at all. about your troubles till you turn blue. No one's got them like I do. I'm sick and tired of hearing everyone complain about their little troubles raining on them baseball games. It don't impress me, no. It don't impress me, son. It don't impress me, not at all. 'Cause you can tell me about your troubles till you turn blue. No one's got them. No one's got them like I do.
So that was story time. Thank you, Lynn. And I should explain just a little bit, though we're going to do a full story on this. Holly had her vaccination, her first one, yesterday. It was a surprise. We got the invitation for it, like, with very little notice, but there's a whole story behind this I'm excited about telling you. And my vaccination, my second one, is today. But the story involves all the trouble we had with the car and being trapped by the snow. And I know you guys have all had this, probably the same story that we've had, but it's quite an amazing story. So on Tuesday, we're going to share that story. In the meantime, what we've been working on, Holly and I, is the credits to Extravaganza. And we spent putting the credits together is almost it's probably more difficult than putting the whole 100-minute Extravaganza together, because you just want to get things right. So this is the first draft. We're going to show you the first draft of the credits to Extravaganza. So please enjoy. Okay, so it's time to say goodbye, and Holly will join us, because by the time this is shown, it's around 3 a.m. right now, but by the time this is shown, it'll be 11:30. We'll have had breakfast. She'll be up. She'll join us on the chat, and she'll join us on the Zoom afterwards. And you could find everything, Extravaganza, the link to our Zoom after this live stream. And I know for sure, well, I'm pretty sure Lynne should join us on this one. And we'll say goodbye now. And I'll move the camera a little. I know you're used to that when Holly's around. So we'll say goodbye quietly, and we'll see you on the Zoom or next Tuesday. Bye-bye.